Welcome all visitors and local residents that are members and local residents, I should say. We don't have visitors yet, to come and visit the zoo. We ask that you wear a face covering while visiting. We do have areas in the zoo where you can take off your face covering and cool down, relax, get something to drink. And those are our great lawn areas and our concession areas in the seating area. As you see, we will have a new set of rules. The flow of traffic is going one way to try and keep people from bottlenecking in certain areas and not social distancing. So we're trying to create as much flow of traffic so that people aren't having to backtrack and run into one another. You'll see newly painted arrows on the floor and lots of signage. We do require a mask because of the zoonotic disease aspect for non-human primates, cats, and some other animals that could potentially get the coronavirus. So for the safety of our staff animals and for our guests that are visiting us, we ask that you wear your face mask, except in the areas that we allow you to sit down on the lawn, social distance, and take off your mask and relax and just enjoy the park. So there's several things you'll get to see. Obviously, we have the new baby lemurs that were announced. So people will get to finally see them in action on the primate island areas, as well as spider monkey and several of the other features. So, I'll take any questions if you folks have any questions at this time.
Can you talk about the places that will be closed?
Sure. So for the high touch areas that we can't sanitize frequently would be the children's zoo, because it's in close proximity to the animals. Obviously the play structure, and currently it's anything that children can climb on, like the hippo sculpture, any kind of sculptures. We have the Savannah walk-through aviary, because we can't sanitize those chains right now. We have a list on our website, so you can feel free to go on the website and pull up the new house rules. It'll tell you all the areas that you can't go to, all the areas that are no mask areas, and areas that we require you to have a face covering while touring the zoo and looking at our animals.
Are you able to share how much revenue was lost during the closure?
I don't really know right now, but we can look at that number. If you have any. Our estimated revenue loss during closure, I'll have to calculate that month.
Can you talk about how you guys plan to regulate the social distancing? Are you going to monitor how many people come into the zoo? If people are making groups, do you have people separating them? How you guys plan to?
So we have a lot of, we'll have people out on grounds that will help and remind folks to social distance. We do have these social distance signs like the one behind me, and also these floor markers that indicate social distance. And we understand that people come as a family, so we're not going to break up family groups. They came together, they live together. So we understand that they're not going to be social distancing, but we do want to separate out and make sure families stay together and that other families don't crowd them or enclose that social distance. So we'll also be having people radio the front and say it's getting a bit too crowded in certain areas, so we'll slow down the entrance if we get to that point where capacity is being met and we can't safely social distance.
So do you guys have a number for the capacity, like what you guys have?
We don't normally have a number because people come and go. So right now we're just kind of managing it by looking at the flow of how many people are congregating in certain areas and bottlenecking. We did a test with members and we had about 900 something visitors in the zoo. We know that on a normal day we have a capacity of anywhere from 1,200 to 15, but that's people coming and going throughout the day. It's when we get to the 2,000 and 3,000, it starts getting really crowded. So we'll monitor. We know that everyone's excited and been contacting the zoo and ready to come. What we're anticipating is that a lot of people might show up first thing in the morning to be the first ones to enter. So we may have to slow down that initial flow coming into the zoo so we aren't bottlenecking in certain areas. And then we'll manage it throughout the day. And so hopefully there'll be enough people coming in and enough people exiting that will allow the steady flow of traffic through the zoo safely.
So are zoo staff members gonna actually tell how ways to stand apart from each other if they're standing?
Yeah, we have security, 2 security guards on property. We have staff from the Zoo Society. We also are using the ushers from the Blaisdell to help remind folks and provide information and help the flow of traffic to keep moving through.
Are you going to ask potential tourist-looking type people if they're under quarantine?
If they don't have the general admission or they're not a member, they have to show an ID. So if they don't have a local ID, that'll key us in that they're from out of state.
But you will then ask them if they are,
We will ask
when they
them.
arrived and so forth? Okay.
So are you gonna let those guys who are non-locals inside?
If they can prove that they have passed the 14-day quarantine, I don't think we can safely allow them in.
So pretty much, if say residents are out of state, have out of state ID but live here, they have to bring some form of proof that they do live here?
I don't think that we have any document that shows that. So it's going to be hard to prove if they're actually somebody who breached quarantine. So we're asking also that if people are not well or they're in quarantine, that they shouldn't be out of the house. I mean, that's the state rules, and you've seen people breaking the quarantine rules, so hopefully they'll get caught and hopefully they won't be in the zoo. But either way, they'll be required to wear a mask, and we've made changes to like non-human primate areas like orangutan where you can't get up close anymore. So there's a different type of guardrail. We've taken the social distance quite a ways because we do know that they are susceptible. So we've taken as much precautions as we can, and we know even our residents could be asymptomatic and maybe not feeling sick and may come through and visit us, and that's something that everyone's going to have to face, not just the zoo.
Wait, to get something straight about the so locals should bring their local IDs to prove that they're from here. And what if you live here but you have a mainland ID or something? What should they do to, you know what I mean?
There's a process, so they have to show some form of residence and how long they've been here. So the cashiers, people at the front ticket booth will go through the whole thing of questions. They should have like an electric bill statement or something to prove that they're a resident.
But there's no way you guys knowing if they breaking quarantine or not, though.
There's no way, and that's no way for anybody in this state to know unless they get caught, right? So everybody's going to be facing that same challenge.
And are you guys going back to your normal hours, or are you guys having different hours?
No, we're on a modified schedule to test it out with the public and to make sure that we have time to properly sanitize. So our new schedule will be opening from Wednesday through Sunday. We open at 10 a.m. and the doors close at 3:30. So the last person entering this front gate will be at 2:30. Everyone has to be out of the zoo by 3:30. And that'll give us enough time to make sure that we're able to properly get in and do a thorough cleaning. Mondays and Tuesdays we will be closed, and that'll give them a chance to do the better cleaning of glass and restroom, power washing restrooms, etc.
So basically, you guys are gonna have to do that every day then.
Yes, we have people cleaning restrooms or like every hour or so, going in and wiping down and sanitizing. We spaced out the stalls, the sinks, so everything's following what everyone else is doing for the COVID prevention.
Yeah, a gentleman at the parking lot told me that you're running this parking lot. It's owned by the zoo?
It's not owned by the zoo, it's a concession of the Department of Enterprise Services. So
Okay,
it's a
so how do
concessionaire.
you assure, because what happened to me wasn't really a good start. I parked here, I came here, someone was watching me what I didn't know from your mafia people in there. And when I found out that I have to pay, because since I was at a press conference, I wasn't sure if we're supposed to pay. I walked back to the machine to pay, and I looked to the right and I see my car is already towed. The guy was just driving almost off the lot. I stopped him. And he said it's not his rule, it's the zoo makes the rule. So that they don't give you 2 minutes to even decide if you have to
The zoo
pay.
doesn't make the rules. They're a concession of the Department of Enterprise Services. So if you have a concern, you should bring it up with ProPark.
But I mean, everyone who parks there apparently wants to visit the zoo, right? So wouldn't it be under your also care that at least people have a chance to pay before someone tows the car?
They should, I agree, but I don't manage the parking lot. It's a
Right.
concession.
So it's dangerous to take the car here, in other words, you know?
Yeah.
After the zoo, do you anticipate the same amount of people coming in, that 900 to 1,200 to 1,500 people?
We expect a good crowd. I think people are ready to get out and just get out and exercise and something for kids to do. So we're expecting a good sized crowd over the weekend. We're hoping that people will try not to just all come at once, because we'll have to then make them wait. But we are open, last people coming in at 2:30, so that gives them an option to come in a later time or come after lunch. We suggest that they look at that instead of all trying to come at the same time, because it'll be hard if they have to wait. I know kids get impatient.
So during the closure, there's no visitors, the maintenance is still okay as far as the zoo?
Yes. We have all been working throughout the whole thing, our entire staff, our grounds crew. We have a lot to maintain. So our entire animal staff, veterinary staff, grounds crew, maintenance crew, our office staff, everybody has been here working the normal hours that we normally do to care for the animals and the plants and the grounds and continuing on with our maintenance. That has not ever stopped.
I just got one last question about, there's areas in the zoo where you gotta go underneath, and are you gonna have people watching how many people enter?
Yeah, so the bunkers, we
Yeah.
have a limit posted, and there's social distancing markers, so you'll see how many dots are there. And so we're only gonna allow so many people into those areas at once, but if you don't wanna go into the bunker, you can still view from the other areas and walk past it. So you have some options. So the areas that will also be closed is the cheetah bunker. So you have only that one viewing option, because the cheetah bunker is just too tight of a space to allow people in without needing to social distance properly. African wild dog is a bigger bunker, so you'll be able to go through. Hippo and penguin will be regulated because you have a way in and a way out. So there'll be people there reminding folks to social distance and holding people back to allow people to exit before they can actually enter.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
For clarif